ke dumedise le lona kaofela ke qetelle ka go dumedisa di ministera tsa rona le di deputy minister le di mayor tsa rona le di MEC le premier ya rona le di councilor tsa rona le di officials tsa rona di DG. Ke thabile gagolo, in fact kaofela rona re le ba mmuso re thabile gagolo go ba mo gare ga lona. Je ka setse le utlwile re ile ra re ha re tswa go sona re tlo simolla mosebetsi wa dipitso, re tla ya dibakeng tse dintsi tsa naga e re ilo tshwara dipitso. Lona batho ba mo ka nnete go kgethilwe lona gore le be lona ba pele, le tshwanetse gore le leboge ntho eno. Ke thabile gagolo ka gobane ke kgale ke ntse ke batla go tla mo, ehlile le premier wa lona Bra Bushi o ntse a re monna president o ska mpitsa premier o mpitse Bra Bushi. Yaanong wa bona bo bra ke ditsotsi tsele tsa kgale. Yaanong ke ntse ke ipotsa gore re kgethile premier ya tsotsi na. Yaanong re tlo sebetsa ka tsela e. Ke tlo kopa di minister tsa rona bao ba ikarabelang mo dinthong tse ding tse ileng tsa tlhagiswa mo. A number of questions have been raised, and some of those questions are in clusters. O ka di nka kaofela o di kopanye. I'm going to ask them, and there are quite a number of us from cabinet who are here. Because we don't have so much time, not all of them will be able to answer, but there are the key issues that have been raised, which I will want our ministers to give some insight into. Kabane Harilimo, we are here under the umbrella ya district development model. District development model ibua ka gore re le mmuso re sebetsa kaofela ha rona re batla go sebetsa sentle re bakanye mathata a le na leng ona. So o mo lo mong wa rona o na le boikarabelo mo dinthong tse itseng tse leng mathata go lenyena. So ke tlo kopa some of the ministers who are here to then address some of the issues. Ha kutlile sentle, and in kutlile sentle, I heard very, very clearly a number of you, and there are 39 of you who spoke. Hansinsi area di kopanong tse so, go bua batho ba about 26 or so. Gompieno go buile 39 ya batho. Bao ba sa fiwang chance ya gore ba botse. Ke tlo kopa gore le ngwale dipotso tsa lona mohatsi. Le di ise mo le mo tafoleng ele go na le batho ba almost 12. Ke bona ba ntse ba ngwala dintho tse kaofela. Mmuso o serious ka dintho tse tshwantseng gore di lokisiwe. Ke tla bua ka tsona ka moragonyana. Mare ke batla gore di minister di fiwe nako gore ba arabele dintho tse itseng. Batho ba bantsi ba buile ka ditsela. A ke re go bjalo. Ditsela mo le nnang teng, they are quite bad in two categories. Ya pele ke a gore mo le nnang teng le re ditsela ke di swimming pool. Ga golo mo ditoropong go na le di pothole tse dintsi tse ngata tse dintsi and tse dangerous. Ntho e nngwe gape ke a gore mo ko magaeng ditsela le tsona they are quite bad. Ke tlo kopa Minister wa Transport o sebetsang le ka ditsela gore a eme mo a bue ka ditsela ganyane. O ile a nka ka tsatsi le leng a nkisa kwa Limpopo a ile gore ke launche tsela e nngwe e ne e lokiswa ka ditena, e agiwa ka ditena. So ke tlo kopa Minister Mbalula a addresse taba e ya ditsela. A ke fetsa moo ke tla kopa Minister wa Basic Education, Minister Enje Motshekga, ka hobane ke utlwile go buiwa le ka dikolo. O e utlwile taba eo le yena, o tla bua ka yona eo ya dikolo. Ha fetsa moo ke tla batla Minister wa Agriculture Thoko Didiza a tlo bua mo ka tsa bolemi. Mme o ile a ema mo le a re yena o na le mmu wa 46 hectares. O batla tractor, o batla o lema. Ke batla gore Minister a tle a tlo araba potso ele ene e botswa ke mme mole. Yaanong ke tla ba ke ntse ke ba bitsa ba latelana. Re tla simolla ka bona bao ba ke ba badileng ba bararo. And after that ke tla bitsa le ba bang. Mbalula, Minister wa Transport, bao ba sa mo rateng ba re ke razzmatazz. Bao ba mo ratang ba o bitsa mang?
Fear for God.
Bao o re bao ba mo ratang ba mmitsa fear for God. Ke tla re a bue ka tsa ditsela ge.
Thank you. Ke a leboha President dumelang. Batho ba ba buileng mo ke Ratile, ke Simon, ke Vusimusi, ke Arthur, ke Thabo wa Ditsobotla, ke Mapula wa Mahikeng le Meyara wa Mahikeng. Jwale ka President a sa hlalositse ba buile ka di potholes hore di tshwana le di swimming pool. Di condition tsa ditsela di mabapi le dipula, di fietswe ke dipula, ke disaster ya dipula le ditsela tse sa lokisweng Mahikeng, Ratlou le Ditsobotla. Jwale President mo ke tsamaya le Sanral re nka ditsela re sebetsana le province Limpopo maobane ne ke le Wolmaranstad Makwasi Hill. Ditsela tse leng hore ke ditsela tsa national ke hlalosa ntho e ntatana e bua more re a dinka re sebetsana le province hang re le Sanral. Jwale ke tsamaya le Sanral mo chairperson wa Sanral le ba tsamayang le yena. Jwale ntate o na bua mo ka hore Sanral e tle bathong. Sanral e lokisa ditsela tsa national. Jwale re tlo sebetsana le province hobane o na le ditsela mona province la di nkela ho tsona, and then le tjhelete e teng empa tjhelete ha e sebediswe e dula e kgutlela morao. ka sekgowa ba e bitsa ka gore ke roll over ne ke tsamaya tseleng ye tshwanakanang le eo ya di-swimming pool Makwasi Hill tšhelete e teng 86 million a ya sebediswa ke province go tliseditswe morao jwale re dumelane gore hang tseleng e tshwanakanang le eo re tla kenya ditšhelete empaneng SANRAL le tlankela tsela eo ho yona e tla kenyeletsa le ditsela tse ding ke ntlha ya pele eo ya SANRAL ya bobedi re na le tšhelete e re fang di-province ho lokisa ditsela jwale dibaka tse re buang ka tsona ke Ratlou municipality anka o fa example ya upgrading from gravel to surface standard of a road Z482 from Madibugo to Madibugo Pan 13 kilometers ko Ratlou ke etsa fela mohlala hore ke tse ding tsa ditsela le tsela ya Ratlou municipality special maintenance tsela ya P152 from Sitlagole to Delareyville 58 kilometers phase 2 ya 28 kilometers dibakeng tse kaofela ke ditsela tse leng hore re na le tšhelete re tlo di lokisa jwale nna ke tlo gutla ke tlo etsa hore ntho tsena tse le buileng ka tsona dibakeng tsena di a etsahala SANRAL ditsela tse re tlo dinkela ho rona province e ka bophara ya Northwest ubane before Brabushi Grootman a fitla bomphato ba e ka pele ba le banka diqeto hore ditsela tse di mo kare ho province ya Northwest ba dinkela ho province hore province e tla di lokisa empa neng bongata ba ditsela tseo a di a lokiswa ho na le bothata ba ditsela tse leng hore di affectilwe ke disaster management disaster ya dipula le tsona tse re tlo dula le province re di lokisa jwale ka le bone ne ke le Eastern Cape tsela e tsamaile le pula re kenya di colbert re sebedisana le Transnet le SANRAL re thusana le province ho lokisa ditsela tseo jwale ntwe le buile mo tse ding tsa tsona re ya di tseba re na le ditšhelete tse leng hore re sentseneng re di beeletse ka thoko re tlo lokisa ditsela tseo re tlo ya dibakeng tse le di boletseng Ratlou ke buile ka Mahikeng le di-pothole tsa teng ha e sale ke tsa Northwest o bolelwa ka ditsela le di-pothole tsa Mahikeng president pothole tsa mo ha di fele jwale ke buile le mayor ka re mayor le comrade Saliva MEC a ke re dule fatshe re bontshane hore re etsa jwang ho fedisa di-pothole hobane ntho ho fedisa di-pothole ha se ntho e boima ke ntho e leng hore ha ntse re lokisa ditsela re ditsela di a qhetsuwa di ba le di-pothole ha pothole ba teng tshwantse re kwale hang ha se ntho e tshwantse be le bothata eo jwale di-pothole tsona re na le programme ya teng le tsona re tlo di kwala re tla bontshana le meya tšhelete re sentseng re file province re ka sebedisana jwang le bona ho ba thusa hore ba kwale di-pothole tsa Mahikeng di ska tsa kwalwa fela ha presidente a tlile a tsamaya ebe ha o sana mosebetsi hobane ntho ya ho kwala di-pothole ke ntho ya ho haha mesebetsi hobane di-pothole di kekebe tsa ba tsa fela as long as ditsela di le teng o tla dula o na le di-pothole empa neng ha pothole ba teng re tshwantse re kwale jwale ha ke qetella le buile ka airport yena e ka tlasa Pilanesberg ke tshwantse ke nke ha ke dumellana le Grootman Brabushi hore re nke qeto hore airport ye jwale ka le kupile ke tsamaye ke ye kabinete re nke airport re khutlisetse ho lona batho ba Mahikeng jwale ntho e ke tlo etsa jwale premier o setse ke buile le yena o tlo ngolla lengolo re tikine re qete ke tlo go utla mo Northwest president ke tlo tikina le president e ditsela tse re tlo di nka le Sandra le tsela ye kaofela e maobane ne ke le mane Makwasi hili tsela si swimming pool a ke tsebe re ka e bitsa eng empa neng brabushi tse ding tsa diqeto tse re di nkang ha o di hlahlobodisisa o di shebisisa ha di re thuse ke diqeto tsa mejo wa yiwa fela o hlamuketse nyafa jwale ha ra tshwanela o nka diqeto tsa mejo re tshwanetse o nka diqeto tsa o haha hobane president o fitlhile mo ike ba president a tlile a tlo le mamela ka Imbizo ha re gutla hape dintho tse le di buileng bentse di sa etsahale jwale ke tlo gutla president ke itlama pelao ka morao re ke bue le bomphato ba ka ba ke sebetsang le bona hore ntho tse kaofela re di lokise ke a leboha president
ore go etswang go a tlhafunwa okay go na le minister o tshwantse o ra tsamaye ka potlako so ke tla mmitsa but I just wanted to stress the one point that Minister Mbalula has put forward. You've often heard me talk about the capacity of the state. For one of the key issues that we have to address is to strengthen the capacity of our government. And in doing so, we have found that there are certain tiers of government that have weakened over time. We are not writing them off. We are going to strengthen them, capacitate them better, make sure that we have people who are fit for purpose, who will be able to do the work. Kaobane re batla batho bao ba tla kgonang go etsa mesebetsi e tshwanetseng go etsiwa e seng motho fela o tla kenang stulong a sa itse mosebetsi. That's precisely what we want to do. But the other problem has been the money that is allocated, as Minister Mbalula was saying, was not being used. It was being sent back to the Treasury. Now we want to bring that to an end. Now, as we repair that whole system, what Minister Mbalula is saying will need to be done, or the services must be provided, and therefore that is where an agency like Sandral will need to come in to give assistance and support. So this is a process of strengthening the capacity of the state and making sure the work gets done. This time round, as we've been saying, we are no longer going to be talking about things that must be done. We are going to do the things that must be done. Ke ona mosebetsi o re tlo o etsang. Ke tlo kopa Minister Begicele a tle a tlo bua ka sa boponisa, crime and drugs. Atle mo abu, then he has to leave. Begicele, come forward.
Ngiyaleboga Mr. President, dumelang bageso. Sanibona bawethu. Mr. President, there are three things that were raised. The drugs issue, the behavior of the police towards the community, and the non-availability when they are needed. Especially when it comes to the GBV. GBV is a serious thing. Therefore, we're taking a serious issue about the members of the South African Police Service that don't assist the victims of the GBV when they come to the police stations. Police are not supposed to tell a victim who comes to report to go back home to negotiate. It's not their job to tell the people to negotiate. The job of the police is to go and arrest the perpetrator. Those police that want to negotiate will send them to Ukraine, Mr. President, to go and negotiate in Ukraine. Their job here is to arrest. Secondly, we have trained 900 police to sit on the GBV desk at police stations so that they develop the understanding, empathy, and sympathy for the victims as they come to the police station, so that they are able to respond with a better understanding. But more so, thanks, Mr. President, for giving us the extra police to be trained. From this province, we'll be training 442 new police officers. I hope you have applied, and there are simple things that you're supposed to know if you are going to be a member of the South African Police. You must be a South African, 30 years younger, matric, no criminal record, you must be healthy, no tattoos, all those things. I'm sure then you understand, then you become the member of the South African Police. Secondly, one person raised an issue that police are not kind to the people that are disabled. Indeed, General Kwena, where are you, General Kwena? That's General Kwena is a provincial commissioner of this province. I'm sure he has taken note, but not only him. There is a deputy national commissioner that is responsible for policing, who oversees all police stations, 1,154 of them in the Republic of South Africa. Masimula, where are you? That is General Masimula, who's responsible to see that police stations are behaving. Therefore, there is an MEC. Where are you, MEC? MEC policing in the province of Northwest. Mr. President, I'm giving this management and myself 3 weeks to come back to this province to deal with the crime issues and policing issues and drug issues. Fortunately or unfortunately, Mahikeng police station is the only police station in the whole Republic of South Africa that appears on the top 30 most criminal police stations. Therefore, we'll come back here and concentrate there. We'll deal with the district, but our concentration will be here. Mr. President, we're taking 3 weeks. We'll be back there to make sure that together with the community of this district, but in particular this police station, we're taking the matters forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister Cele. Le ikutlwetse ge ha ona le tattoo ba re o ska leka. Ke sa ile itlhola le nna gore ke na le yona tattoo na. Ne ke soka ke itlhola. Minister wa Basic Education, Minister Enji Motshekga o tla bua ka tsa education.
Malibongwe. No, President, e re ke qale ka o dumedisa ke a dumedisa baahi ba Mahikeng le ba Northwest. President, there was a question ka Taganeng Primary School, ba re tshile di mobile di tsena metsi le tsela ha e tsamaeng. Report e ke thotse mo MEC le HOD gore the school is in a planning stage ka jara e tlang tla be se lokisiwa. Empa ntho ya bohlokwa e ke batla ho bua ka yona president, ha se a tjha se tjhisitswe. So ha se a tjha se tjhisitswe. And our communities have a problem ya hore ha ona ntho ba utlwisang bohloko ba qala ba tjhisa ditulo tse tshwantse bana ba bona ba holele ho tsona ba bale ho tsona ke re kgalemele le moo. Sko se tla lokiswa empa se a tjha se tjhisitswe. And se tjhisitswe ke ketapele ya sebaka. So ke ntlha ya pele. So re a dumelana hore in terms of SONA, because Imbizo e tla ka mora SONA, president o itse ho be le social compact. And rona le hlakoreng la rona re kopa social compact ya rona hara tse ding ibe ho tshireletsa meaho ya mmuso haholo dikolo. So re kopela social compact from SONA, because as SONA first sekolo se tjhisitsweng ke ra Sesotho se re ntho e wele ha re ke e wisitse ba re ntho e tjhela ba re ke e tjhisitse. Le ngaka modiri ho na le sekolo se tjhisitsweng se le teng tshwantse re se lokise. Empa mo sekolong sa matloding MEC o mpolelela re bothata ke phapang e teng pakeng tsa setjhaba, ba bang ba re se lokiswe, ba bang ba re ba batla se setjha. Ha ba qeta mo ba fapana ka hore se ahiwe kae, empa ka baka leo mmuso ha o kgone ho lokisa. So ke dumelane le MEC hore a kgutlele morao re tlo kgona ho rarabolla taba eo, se ke ra re kgone ho tswela pele re le mmuso hobane setjhaba ha se utlwane, tshwantse ro rarolla taba eo. Ko Ramotse primary le teng ho tse tjhisitsweng, ba re ko Ramotse primary ko Bojanala setjhaba se tjhise computer lab, sa tjhisa library kgweding e tswa feta. So ke nngwe hape ya compact e re di kopang. And then ko Khosi Shophe MEC o mpoletse hore o ile ka 2019, 2020, 2021 le jareng e o boetse hape ka 2022, and se a tshepisang gore mo Khosi Shophe sekolo se tlo ahiwa, le ko Bladefell sekolo se tlo se qadiwe ka di mobile. Empa and then ho bile le potso hape ya di college, a ke kgone ho ya raba hobane ke lefapheng leo, empa ke tla tsamaisa molaetsa mme ha re tlisa report back ke tla re ntate Nzimande a thuse. Empa mo SONA president o re tlamile hape re le mmuso hore ho tlo fetolwa tsela eo ho ahiwang dikolo ka teng ka tsela e fapaneng hobane re le lefapha la mmuso. Nationally, our backlog is more than 100 billion rands. E tla etsang hore ho be thata ho lusa dikolo tsa rona ka nako. So ho ya ka keletso ya president, re dumellane ka hore dikolo re tlo sebetsa tsela tse fapaneng. Public Works under Minister Dilil e sebetsa le Eastern Cape le Northern Cape ho re thusa ho lusa dikolo. Rona re le lefapha e be di beke tse ngata tse fitileng president ntse re qoqa ka hore re lukisa jwang taba ya rona ho ya ka tshepiso ya hao. We are going to do what we call a self-build project, and we are working hard with Treasury to make sure that we finance local builders, because le di kontraka di forum tse di re tshwenya kere ha o aha ba batla di 30% to re sekolo se sa tswa hantle. So we're going to be working with local builders, using professionals to do self-build programs in community. So we're finalizing that program. On the other hand, we're also working with other government departments, correctional service, small business, again to get those departments to assist us with infrastructure, because we don't have all the money for all the needs of infrastructure. But we're also partnering with departments like Department of Mineral and Energy. Tega Maobani, we had gone to Kuruman to go and receive a school which had assisted us to get from the mining sector. So we're looking at the private sector, we're looking everywhere else to make sure that we can respond, because indeed we have lots of backlogs in school infrastructure. so ne le dipotso tse teng tseo ya college ke tla isa ho Ntate Nzimande a kgone ho e araba ka bonnete le ka botlalo. Ke a leboha.
Omega none. Thank you, Minister Motshekga. Ke tlo bitsa Minister Mamoloko Kubai gore a tle a tlo bua ka dintlo. O tshwanetse gore a yo mo radio interview ya gona mo community radio. O kae o tshabile o teng? E tla tlo bua ka dintlo, and then after that go tla tla Minister Tidiza.
Ke leboge mo president wa rona Ntate Cyril Ramaphosa, ke dumedise mo Pirimiri, ke dumedise matona a leng teng ka fa, ke dumedise bo MEC ba rona le di majoro le di councillors, ke dumedise ba kgoshi ya rona beng ba mmu. Ke leboge gobane go builwe ka dilo tse dingata, dintlha tse dingata tse lebaneng le lefapha la human settlement. Ke simolle ka gang ya dintlo tse weleng bakeng sa gore go ne le dipula. Ke fumane report mo presidente fa baagi ba tlhalosa le maobane ne re le ko Itsoseng ngo bileng ba re bolella gore go ile di matlu from last year ha e sale ba eme gore lefapha le tle le tlo go ba thusa. Re ikane gore re tla lukisa gobane submission ya rona ya human settlement ya go lukisa matlu a weleng ibile ya bata ba gore ba itse ga ba tla ba tlogwetsa di assessment ba fitlhela gore gona le matlo a ile reng ana le di asbestos a bileng a affectega le ona. So re ikane re le lefapha gore re tla gutla re tlo go lukisa re simolle ka gore mo processing ya go lukisa matlo ana le di asbestos re wa tsenye ka program e re bitsang ya ratification. Ya bobedi ke gore mo re na le emergency funding go bile go ska ba le go tlhaloganya gantle ga team e ne bereka ne ba nagana gore swantse gore ba emele gore disaster e declarewe pele gore matlo a tla lukisiwe go tlogele maobane re ile ra simolla process mo president le baagi. Re tshepile gore mo beke e tlang matlo ao a tla be le gore process ya lukisiwa. Re buisane le province ya rona ya mo Bokone Bophirima e le gore ne le team e emetseng MEC wa rona gore ba tla ba re thuse gore re lukise. Ke rata go bua gape ka taba tsa mo president tsa di blocked project. Ke utlwile ba bantsi baagi ba bua ka taba gore ba emetse matlo ga ba fumane matlo. Go bile le bothata ka ra province ya rona Northwest re na le di project tse dingata tse ile re di eme e ile gore go bile bothata gore ba ska gona go di fitlhela ka re ga di ema ra kontraka tlile mo siteng a simolla tiro ga sa fetse tiro batho ba ngwadisitswe gore ba tla fitlhela ditiro ba tla fitlhela ditshebediso tsa matlo ga ba di fumane. Yaanong se re se lebeletseng re ile ra lebella gore bothata bo kokae. Bothata ba pele e ba gang ya gore mo metseng mo ba sileng di slepeteng o fitlhele le gore borra kontraka ba bang ba tswile ba tsama ba ska sebetsa ba re ga ba patalwa ke lefapha mo presidente. Re simollotse go bereka because re na le mathata gore ka gara mafapha ne re na le problem ya capacity mo ile gore ba sebetsang ne ba pallwa gore ba felletse mosebetsi mara go gongwe re bona ile gore go na le mosebetsi o swantse re etse re investigate gore ba ntse ding tsa di project di eme tse ding re bona ile gore batho ba ne ba appointilwe ne se batho ba tshwanetseng gore ba appointe ka ra ga bana bokgoni ga bana le capacity ya go ira mosebetsi. Re ile ra tsa decision jwale ka minmac gore go tloga from the 1st tsa April ka 2022-2023 e le selemo se le gore re se bitsa gore ke financial year re tlo go unblocka di project ka ra di provinces tsotlhe including ka mogare ga Bokone Bophirima. Se seng ke rata go bua ka sona mo president ke taba ya gore baagi ba botsisitse ka di title deeds maobane re ntshitse di title deeds tse le kana le 1000 ka ra province ya Northwest tse di akaretsa batho ba ile reng ke tsa gale tse ile reng re bitsa gore ke all stock tse ding gape ke tsa di RDP mara ra utlwa setšhaba a sella se re bongata ba eme ba emetse di-RDP se re se fitlhetseng ba emetse di-title deeds se re se fitlhetseng ko gore o fitlhele le gore motho o na nna mo RDP after 10 years le re RDP di kwadisitswe ka batsadi o fitlhele le gore motsadi a ba tlhokofala RDP setse le bana fa title deeds e tswa ka lebitso la batsadi bana ba kgone go ifumana sentle re nkile decision ya gore re tlo etsa di-verification gape gore re etse transfer ya gore di-title deeds tseo di ye bo baneng gobane policy ya rona ne e sa dumelele gore ga e le gore ntlo e ne ngwadisitse ka motswadi automatically ngwana o e le goreng o dumeletswe gore a thole ntlo eo a e thole immediately e batla gore e simololwe gape ngwadisitswe fatshe so go tloga from the first re changitse policy ya rona gore e kgone go ba letlelela jalo se seng ke rata go kopa jaaka re bua le baagi ka sheno baagi mo presidenti ba e ba re bolelle gore ka ra matluana di RDP ba fumena batho ba tswang ko ntle ke rata o bua re le lefapha ga re fe batho ba sa tshwanelang go fumana dintlo bothata setšhabeng sa rona ke gore ga ba fumana di RDP ba di hirisa ba di rekisa ke ka moo re na le mathata ka teng ke ikopetse go batsadi ba rona ke ikopetse go setšhaba gore ra kopa tswetswe tlogelang go rekisa di RDP fa o sa itlhoke e fe rona puso re tla e fa o itlhokang ga re le puso re fe batho ba tswang ko ntle di RDP ba fiwa ke lona setšhaba so gore re tle re kgone go bereka le di-title deeds ra kopa tswetswe tlogelang go nka di-title deeds le di iseng le ilo di tshwarisang ko bo mashonisa ka re fa le fetsa go etsa yalo dintlo di jewa ke bo mashonisa re fitlhele le gore re na le mathata yaanong bana di kgutsana di dutse ko ntle yaanong ra ikopela gape re buisana le setšhaba gore a re berekisane mmogo gore re tle re kgone go lokisa ke a utlwisisa ke le ministera gore ke le letona la human settlement gore le ile la lla gore ga la bona tshebeletso ya dintlo e tsamaya ka go phakisa ra le lokisa because go bile le mathata ka nnete for nako e ngata go na le di-areas e le goreng o fitlhele le gore ga re sirage for about 4 years re sa age le ga e le RDP e le one seo re se lokisitse sa bofelo ke ratang go bua ka sona ke sa di-informal settlements re berekisana le bo masepala go lokisa gore di-informal settlements tse di leng teng at least di bane le ditshebisetso mo e le goreng re bereka le minister Mqunu tla bua le ka human ka tsa gagwe tsa metsi le di-sanitation re berekisana mmogo gore at least ka mo metseng re kgone go tlo bona gore batho ba fitlhela ditshebeletso tsa go tshwana le metsi sanitation le electricity sa bofelo gore re dumelane re le minmeke from the 1st tsa April di-province tse tshwana le Northwest tse e le goreng gantsi ga ba batle go agelwa matlu mara ba na le matlu ba batla fela gore ba tsenyetswe metsi ba tsenyetswe di sanitation dilo tsa go ithusa ntlo tsa go ithusa gore re tloketsa madi a gore from ka di-first ba kgone gore ba etse ditshebeletso tse jwalo ke a leboga mo president
o ka tlhatloga you can come up ka nako e ne re campaigner for local government ke ile ka ya dibakeng tse ngata a number of places where many of our people said to us all we now need ba ile ba re we thank the government for building close on to 4 million houses for South Africans. Babam baile bare. Rona, we do go around the continent. There is no country that we know on the African continent that has built as many as 4 million houses. Only South Africa has done so for its people. So baile bare ra leboga. And then they added, Bari President, we can see the demands on our government are quite many. What we think will help our people to get houses, because the shortage of houses is still a major problem. They made a clear proposal, Barry. All we need are sites. just give us serviced sites, mo go na le metsi where there's water and electricity, we will be able to build our own houses. That is what many of our people now want. Ana go bjalo na? Ke yona ntho e batlwang ke batho ba rona na? Ke utlwile bjalo. So we are going to have a mixture. There will be site and service sites, and they will also continue with the building process, Yadintlu. So if we have this balance, we'll be able to make many more human settlements available. Ke tlo kopa Minister Togo Didiza a arabele eya agriculture, and after that, we are going to ask Minister of Water and Sanitation, Minister of Mineral Resources, and then Minister of Defense and Military Veterans. Ba itukise gore ba tle ka mo pele. Minister Didiza.
Ke a leboga, Mr. President. Ke dumedisa magoši, batona teng ko ntlong. Ke dumedisa setšhaba sohle. Ke kopele tswalelo kapa Setswana sa ka ke sefana ka lo. Challenge ya luna kumthuta na Setswana. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Firstly, I would like to say, Mr. President, I've been here in the Northwest last week for 3 days in Bujanala district and Agamundiri to meet with Mahoshi and the land claimants who have already received their land, particularly the executives of the CPAs. I also came here on Thursday in Bujanala again to meet with the CPAs, Mr. President, that have received their land in Pilansberg Game Reserve. Yesterday, myself and the MEC of Agriculture, Mem Mohono, we actually had a women's Imbizo in agriculture where we met women who are involved in agriculture, agro-processing, and agribusiness in the Northwest. I therefore would like to thank Mahoshi for having engaged with us and understood some of the complex matters that relate to land governance and how we need to work together as a state to ensure that communities who have received their land can utilize them effectively. But also where there are developments which serve the public purpose, that when we receive land, we should be able to accommodate the needs of municipalities and other citizens. And I would also like to thank the women who we met yesterday. Mr. President, Umama Simbonilizo, we met with her, she was in the meeting. She even gave us a business plan and a request for a tractor. In our language, we say, "Engakhali fele mbelekweni mase khona ubaba kufanele akhale futhi." We did say we will look at her issue and see how best we assist her, because having a bigger tractor may not actually be useful for a small piece of land, because she has 8 pieces of land and she's leasing about 6 other pieces of land in another region. But we are attending to that matter. The other member of the community, Ntate, who also raised the issue from Mooifontein, indeed, we will also attend to that matter, Mr. President. The only one I may not be able to attend to is Eka Nkosikazi and the child. Ndade said he doesn't have a wife, he doesn't have a child, he wants to see the Minister of Agriculture. Unfortunately, that one I may not be able to answer. But with respect to the agricultural matters, myself and the MEC, we will be engaging with him to see how best we can assist in the needs that she has expressed here in front of you. The other issue relates to some farmers who have already accessed permits for the production of hemp and cannabis. I just want to indicate, Mr. President, that in the Northwest, SAPRA actually issued 2 permits for those farmers who are going to be planting cannabis for medicinal purposes. They've raised certain issues with regards to the cost of the permits, which we'll be raising with SAPRA in our interministerial meeting. From an agricultural point of view, we are also processing the permits for those who want to plant hemp for industrial purposes. And I must say, Mr. President, that currently we're actually looking at the regulatory mechanism that will ensure that on one hand, we protect the industrial approach of hemp and cannabis, as you explained in SONA, but also be mindful of the challenges of drug abuse, particularly on those cannabis that make people high and also hallucinate and have challenges with respect of health. So those we will address in the Interministerial Committee going forward. I want to say, Mr. President, as you said in SONA, one of the issues that is of your concern and of this government is the matter of food security. How do we assist people to be able to plant their food, particularly at household level, in order to feed themselves and families? We've already started issuing out PESI vouchers to support those subsistence farmers who are planting back gardens and also the small sizes, which is of a size of a hectare. We will continue to support farmers, particularly those who are already commercializing, to give them necessary instruments to be able to do so. Those were the few issues that were raised in respect of agriculture. Ke a leboga.
Nna le wena Rukwan. Yes, Minister, you are right. Khonale, the very first speaker, ke lebetse go a ke a khona go kwala leina la gagwe. Re o le o ileng a re hana mosadi hana bana. Re na le lefapha le leng la mmuso le ka go thusa. Go na le minister o ke tlo mmisang. O tla re ha fetsa go bua fa o ka mmona ka ko ntle kwale. O na le listi ya batho bao ba batlang banna. So this could be your lucky day. Gore o tlile pitsong o bo tsamaya o na le mosadi. Mare a re tla mo baneng tshwanetse o iketsetse bana ba gago. Ke tlo kopa minister wa metsi, Minister Mkhunu a Tefano.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Kaleboga. One, there's an issue in Itsoseng, and our response is that that township is supplied by boreholes, which I think you were confirming. What we will do to respond is to engage the mayor of the district so that we do repairs there, because that infrastructure requires repair. We know it is dysfunctional, the boreholes that are supplying the community there. We just have to conclude our discussion with the district mayor so that we can resuscitate or repair those dysfunctional boreholes. How long it is going to take, we will talk with the mayor because we do understand that water is a right, that water is life, and therefore without that, life comes to a halt and we're concerned about it. Once we've finalized that, mayor will then be required to have a consultation with the local mayor and address the matter, but it will be quick. Botibe, there is a need to drill and provide reticulation and reservoir. And again, there's a matter that the district need to attend to. And of course, engage us where they require assistance. But that is the response to the challenge in Botibe. With regard to tankering, we know there's a lot of tankering here. I will come to that at the end. Following our visit, our working session in the whole of Northwest, which we did from 1 to 3 February this year. We were here and we met Premier, we met a number of MSCs, we met all the district mayors that are water authorities, and we met all local municipalities that are water authorities. We have even gone to a national summit, and we know exactly what to do in the Northwest. In Mahikeng, now, what is a challenge in this area or in this city? There are various schemes that are being upgraded at the moment. But that does not, yes, one that is main, that is receiving our attention, is now 70% towards finishing or completion. Now it will bring 10 million liters per day in addition to the water here in Mahikeng. But again, I will address that shortly. Modimole, its maintenance work challenges there. There is current refurbishing of the plant that is happening at the moment as we talk, and it is 50% towards completion. We accept that there will be disturbances of water as a result of the refurbishing by the service provider, but it is not going to be long, and we will request the mayor in that, the local mayor of Modimole and the district mayor, to ensure that we covered via tankering where possible. There are other areas that will be disturbed during the time of refurbishment. My last issue, with regard to water in Mahikeng, it is clear that we have to get water from the Vaal. A major or a big scheme that will supply water here. That's what we're discussing now as our priority intervention following our work session here. Whatever part of the Vaal, whether mid-Vaal or whether from the dam here in the west of Mahikeng, we will decide very soon before end of this month which option we take, because that will come with reliable water which will be sustainable and will cover a number of other areas which we'll identify during discussion. That is what we will need over and above boreholes, because boreholes are not sustainable, especially in the whole of this area. But our intervention will also cover Resenbeck, where we will connect various schemes and make meaning out of what is happening there at the moment, following our engagement with the water authorities here. With that, we trust that we will be on our way to resolving the issues generally going forward. So where we have not reached you, we will request that you be a little bit patient. Otherwise, all the mayors here agree that they will have to contribute money. WIZIC money and ARPIC money, we are not going to come with money from Pretoria. We will take your money that is here and contribute, and we have agreed on that. There's no mayor who is going to cruise. There's no minister who will cruise. There's no province that will cruise. Premier agreed to he will make an effort and put money on every effort that will enter into. And therefore, I'm very happy with the cooperation of all the mayors here with regard to their contribution to money over and above partnership that we are on at an advanced stage, which will give us more capacity to bring water in the Northwest. Ke a leboga, President.
Thank you. Ke tshepiso e a e beya mo go rona. Water is a major challenge in our country. As many of you have already heard, we are a water scarce country. Last year, ke ile ka re ha ke ile ko DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, ke be ke bona the Congo River. Ke noka e kgolo e na le metsi kgwedi le kgwedi mo selemong. There's not even a single moment when the Congo River does not have water. Ke be ke re mo President Tshisekedi go ka ba bjang gore re nke South Africa re ise ko Congo, move the whole country to be near the Congo. Abare, no, why don't you pipe the water all the way from the Congo to South Africa? Begiro, okay, when on a copper ngata, you have a lot of copper, can you fund the project? For mo South Africa, abahana. So as you know, metsi a mang re a reka ko Lesotho, and I know for the Minister Mkhunu, they are working on a number of plans for re kgone go krea metsi mo matamong a mangata, and I'm sure that is going to work. Re tlo kopa Minister Mantashe gore a tle kwano a tlo bua ka di maene. Yaanong ba mo ratang, bao ba mo ratang ba metsa gwezi, ba sa mo rateng ba mitse ka leina le leng. A ke no kena mo lona.
Thank you, President. The Northwest is a mining province, but quite clearly, Kenneth Kaunda is not a major mining region. It was clear in the questions. There were only one question on mining, two questions on energy. That means it's not a major mining region, and that must change. It's about people who are here will remember that we spent a weekend and a day thereafter in Ditsobotla dealing with a relationship of the people of Ditsobotla and the three mining companies, BBC, Sipago, and AfriSam. All of them are in Ditsobotla. They are cement companies. We're dealing with two issues. The first one was, why can't people in the local have business opportunities in those mines? We pulled the people from the townships, all of them, and had a meeting with the CEOs of all these companies. We had a follow-up, and that commitment was taken forward. Now, on the question of the cracked houses, we can follow that up to check, but the Tsobotla is on our radar. We're working there, we're hands-on there. It is like the meeting we had in Rustenburg 3 weeks ago, where we're dealing with the similar problems, where we talk to the business forum. Sometimes we meet business forums with no business people, but it's a business forum. And again, we brought them into contact with CEOs, because our belief is that people in those communities must talk to those companies rather than shouting at them, "Funa opportunity ngoku, funa opportunity ngoku." You see. I heard one, Dabonba, ukhona lo, I understand lento yenziwa business. Uthi ufuna opportunity kodwa uyayishouta. Business people don't work that way. They invest time, energy, and resources, and they're given opportunity and given support. That is one. So we'll follow up on the cracked houses in the Tsobotla and check what is the problem. Is it blasting? What is the issue? Let me leave that one. The second one was load shedding. 3 ministers are kept awake by this issue of load shedding. The first one is the minister in the presidency, who kicked dust all the time on this matter. Then it's myself. 3 is Minister of Public Enterprises. The reason that all these 3 ministers must deal with this issue is because ESCOM is in public enterprises. When it is suboptimal, when it only works at best at 30,000 megawatts, when it is having 45,000 megawatts connected, that is a problem. Then the Ministry of Energy must deal with the supplementary program that is working with the independent power producers to fill the gap that is left there. The minister and the president must keep an eye on that issue, but at the end of the day, noise goes to the president. So that is where we are. The last one is electricity and neighboring countries. There is a misnomer here of believing that all neighboring countries just take energy from South Africa and they give us nothing. I can tell you that one of the countries that support us with electricity is Mozambique. Kaura Basa has been supplying with electricity for many years. Now it is being extended to Mbanda Kuwa, a new one, which is going to add energy. Thirdly, Mozambique is very reliable in working with us on gas. So it's not a question of just a one-way traffic. It is good neighborhood between ourselves and neighboring countries. Others are struggling. Others do support us. And I would imagine, President, that with Namibia having discovered petrol on 2 areas, we are going to have a relationship with Namibia. They will support us. We are a good neighbor. Those are our good neighbors. Thank you, President.
I should say, Hore, when it comes to electricity, yes, we do sell our electricity to a number of countries. Zimbabwe is one, Mozambique as well, Botswana as well, and Lesotho. Now, those are small economies. They don't consume as much electricity as we do. So the electricity that we sell to them is very minimal, and they pay consistently. So when we go through our own load shedding, the electricity we also sell to them is also slightly minimized. although we never really cut them off completely, but it is slightly minimized. So some of the hardships that we go through, they also feel them. But in time, Mozambique is going to be a great producer of electricity, as will Namibia as well. So these things are always in balance, and we try to balance them all the time. I'm now going to ask Minister Thandi Modise to come forward and address the issues that were raised by our military veterans. And I want to applaud our military veterans, as well as their families, for the great sacrifices they made to bring us where we are. Many of them went into exile, a number of them went to prison, and what you were outlining here as your challenges are issues that we are continuously seized with. But Minister Thandi Modise will address that, and I will come and do a little bit of a further explanation about some of the initiatives that are now underway to address the sufferings of our military veterans. Minister Modise.
Thank you, President. Makgosi ya me, ke kgwile mathi ke itshwere mohubu. Ministers, baagi ba Northwest, we have 3 questions. They are intertwined. The first one, I'm going to break it into 2. Ke ya ga Rre Ditšhabe. Rre Ditšhabe, I must say that we have started what we are also calling an Imbizo, military veterans. We are setting up dates. We're going to start ka Northern Cape because selo so re fang sona ke se re se kry-ileng ko Northern Cape. So we're going to go there. Re tle go itheeletsa re kgone go understand gantle gore go diragalang. That relates to the benefits to military veterans. Now, we want to also say quite loudly, we are not going to change the criteria ya go recognize military veterans. Because if we do that, those who came up as we were integrating and were registered were vetted in a particular way. And so we continue ka criteria EU. So unfortunately, we would have to go there until there is a time when there is a special time. More tshwantseng gore re shebe. And I think, President, when you look at what Ntate Ditšhabe was saying, this is a particular one where we must come back and say there was a category of military veterans who were, one, kicked out of the system because they were in prison, but not in prison because sometimes automatically when you are in prison for wrong things, you automatically will not be considered. But in this particular case, we might want to come back and consider gore batho bao ba neng ba thusa go isa tlhaolele le ha ene apere mosese o mongwe ra reng ka bona. So I do promise that we will come back and discuss that. But the second part of what Ntate Ditšhabe was saying is the ex-political prisoners. Unfortunately, none of the ex-political prisoners have received anything from the state. Whether they were in the TBVC or whether they were in the former liberation movement, none of them. What has happened is that other military associations, you will see APLA approaching the Transnet, approaching the DMV to help them go in. And therefore that arrangement is actually not done by RONA as a department. It's between the military association and a particular department. And therefore, that is another avenue that we can look. So, Rona as DMV, we cater for batho ba le ba capturilweng ba vetilweng who must benefit. But in this particular province, President, the agriculture has not made a distinction between the former liberation military vets and the Bophuthatswana military vets. So ke kopa gore mme Mohono le mo atameleng, because ko boganyesa kwa how the military vets or approach agriculture, they have opened their hands and they have opened their eyes to help. Ke ne ke batla gape ke re, then me rusutlile sello about school fees. We are attending to that. President, we have just concluded training military vets to use IT. We went as a department in partnership with CETA. They have been training them. In fact, some of them we have actually given up. Rebafile di iPad tsa bone. There will be some who will get their iPads here today, President. That is because system ya khali ke ya letsogo, ke ya pampitshana, and sometimes it does not capture all the beneficiaries. It does not have a warning bell. Hadina tsa di school fees di santse di be teng. And that is why we are now automating in the department. And that is why re atametse di veterans so gore we must be able to get them updated, and Libana, they must be able to update their statuses. The other thing is that I think, President, I might just say that in terms of the beneficiaries, we are hoping that when we finally put the amendment, the Military Veterans Act, to Parliament, that amendment will also upfront recognize the beneficiaries, it's the veterans. That amendment will also be upfront about medical benefits extended to the beneficiaries by the veterans. Marebatswana re le gopotse gape gore definition ya beneficiary mo military veterans ke one generation. Go ra gore e cover re le mme le bana ba. E seng bana ba ga kgaitsadi, e seng ditlogolo bana ba bana. E cover na le lapa la me, e seng extended. So re batla gore intse e cover yalo ka di payouts sa pension, but we want to extend that benefit ya medical health into the beneficiaries. So ke a tshepa gore when we come, we will have re tla ba le Imbizo mo Northwest. Re tla tla re dula as the department le di military vets, all of them. Re tla tla ra tlhatlha dikgang tse di sa re jeseng monate, dikgang tsa development, dikgang tsa di employment opportunities. We are working on that. Go ba tlhatlosa re ba batlela economic spaces where we can't. We are working on that. President, ke itake re feletse mo. Ke a leboga.
Yanong ha o re batho ba me nkgopotsa o nkgopotsa o mong o na nagana gore ke ena mo sebakeng se a re batho ba me a bua ka nyina batho ba dulang mo mare lile la mmontsha gore lona a le batho ba gage. Kilokopa Minister, although there were no real direct questions to you both, but the issues that were raised touched on some of your work. Minister Zulu, uka unsali tenkwe. Minister Zulu, Orofitle, there were references to GBV. There were also a number of other references. And Minister Sisulu, honze go buiwa ka great tourism opportunities here. And somebody actually said there are like 70 or 700 sites that opportunities for tourism. And then Minister Ngesi on employment and job creation, Udengmo. So I will also want you to touch a little bit on that. And thereafter, we will ask the minister in the presidency to come and answer something. Atumel, Mezulu, Atumel.
Ke a leboga Ntate Cyril Ramaphosa. Ke leboge setjhaba kaofela se leng teng mo today. Mr. President, Nali Minister Begicele, we agreed in 3 weeks' time we are coming back. We agreed that myself, Minister Begicele, Lady MEC Saruna, Tasponisa Li Social Development, we will come back here because, Mr. President, we want to rather have stronger local structures. We want to have both province and local structures which are stronger and empowered to deal with the challenges of gender-based violence. Yesterday, Mr. President, we went to one of our Tutuzela centers, and I must say it was good to go to the Tutuzela center, but it was disappointing from a point of view of capacity. First and foremost, that Tutuzela center is within a hospital, but it is too squashed. But the good thing about it is that the hospital itself said it has a piece of land where we can build a Tutuzela center. We then agreed, the MEC, we will not look just at Chelete Ellington in government. We are going to look at the private sector which can support us and assist us, because this Tutuzela center, Mr. President, in Alisa near Vodacom, just outside. But the unfortunate thing is that it's an old sign of the old Vodacom, when I used to work for Vodacom. So I'm like, what is this sign near Vodacom doing here if Vodacom is not doing anything here? So we are going to follow up and check what is it that Vodacom can do. That center, Mr. President, was opened as way back as 2006, if I'm not mistaken. Everything in it doesn't say Tutuzela. So we've agreed with the MEC that we will support the Tutuzela. Of course, I must indicate that the people who are working there, from the social workers to the police to NPA, they really are doing a very good job. They are very committed to their work. As a department of social development, Ribatla, just a few Tutuzela centers which are top of the range Tutuzela centers that have all the capacity for support. Lastly, Mr. President, there was the issue of the old age. To tell you the truth, it is very disheartening and embarrassing and painful to see how much elderly people are being abused. It is very painful because elderly people get their social grant. By Chola, Mr. President, social grant, Yabon. Yes, we have a problem of queues from time to time, but by Chola, and elderly people are being abused in many instances by their own families who are taking away the social grant. So, Genze proposal, Mr. President, having visited one other area where I found a woman who was living in a car, and the attention was brought to us by the media. We went and visited her. We would like, Mr. President, as a Department of Social Development, to work towards ensuring that the elderly people have got safe places. And unfortunately, as our communities, and in black communities in particular, People don't want their elderly to go to the old age homes, which are very good old age homes. And this na akidumelani le yona because bomme le bontate, when they are old and they are frail, they need to be taken care of by us. Ba kgone hore ba dule ko the old age homes, but it must be good old age homes. Mr. President, many people don't want their old age, the elderly, to go to the old age homes because ba batla bone. And this is, of course, the bigger problem of unemployment and all the inequality and everything. Really, Department of Social Development, we have quite a number of old age homes across the country. Last week, I had a good meeting with National Lotteries, who also indicated to me that they have been building old age homes in some places. So we will go and visit. But as far as the Northwest is concerned, and this district in particular, in 3 weeks' time, we are going to be back. But our coming back, Mr. President, is about strengthening the capacity of the people who live with the people here on day-to-day basis. Thank you, Mr. President.
As I said, Northwest is one of the provinces in our country that has a great tourist attraction. And there are many historical sites in the Northwest, and we need to focus on tourism to ensure that tourism becomes a growing industry on an ongoing basis. And it is for that reason that Minister Sisulu will touch on some aspects of this very, very important sector. Minister.
Ke rata ho leboha re Ramaphosa for opportunity e a mphileng yona hore ke tlo bua le lona. Dumelang bahaeso. Dumelang. A ke le utlwi. Ke a leboha. Yaka President Achilo, we are aware of the fact that this used to be a very good tourist area. In fact, it was very difficult for us as the ANC to admit that we had been outdone by the previous administration in this area. But we want to make sure that we can outdo what we found here, Mr. President. And I'm very glad that there are sites that have been pointed out which we can come and have a look at. Our intention is to attract, through Botswana and everybody else, to come to South Africa and enjoy themselves in this area. As all of you know, we have suffered greatly from the COVID period and the COVID lockdown. So our intention is to try and plow as much back as we can in the creation of jobs. To begin with, I just want to say to you, there's a Manyane Lodge here, which I'm told was destroyed at some point. We promise with you, I'm with my DG here, that we will build it up and make sure that we can put it to good use so that the youngsters here can come over and get employment with us. Just down the road, we have a stall, Mr. President, Minister Dlamini Zuma. We have a stall that is indicating what we do in tourism. We put it up so that we can attract youngsters here to take up some job in tourism, even if it's on a temporary basis. So what we're doing here is to say, there are job opportunities for you and we're creating them, and please have a look at what we have. Perhaps in the meantime, while you're waiting to go to university or you're waiting for another job, you'll find a part-time job in our area. We are also informed, Mr. President, that the casino, which used to draw in a lot of people, has shut down. Unfortunately, the reason it shut down has very little to do with our department, but we will make sure that the board that is responsible for that, the gambling board, takes a look at this so that we can bring the gambling area back, because it used to attract a lot of people to come and spend their weekends here, and we would like them to come back. So we will be keen to take up, and if there is a possibility of appropriation, Mr. President, We would like to appropriate that school, build it up, and make sure that very few of our youngsters will be hanging around the streets. They will have employment opportunities in that school, and from there, or education in that school. From there, they will be going into employment, into the industry. I have been listening to, indicating that we have here tourist opportunities. I've come with my DG here, and I'm going to leave him behind so that he can make sure that jobs. Thank you very much. Ra leboha.
Thank you very much. Now, one of the speakers, Wila Abua Kahore, Rietse office, co-officing your president, where if people write letters, those letters must get answered. We've always had a coming. Minister Barbara Creasy climate change is one of the issues that are top of mind to many. For the drought is one of those problems that we have. Minister Didiza told me, Khore, we now currently have a locust breakout. There are locusts that have invaded our space. Where is it? Northern Cape. Yes. That is a clear indication of climate change. So you will also come and say something about climate change. But we are going to ask Gungubele to come up first. Oh, I forgot about employment. Also kulma employment.
Thanks, Mr. President, the Premier, and all the ministers who are here, the traditional leaders and the religious leaders, and all of us who are here. Just to touch on 2 or 3 issues. The first one, Mr. President, which was raised, this Operation Dudula, which is a sore point in relation to the immigrants. And I will also talk about employment, of course. First, we have listened to our people. We have heard their cries, where they see some of the employers, especially in agriculture, in security, in tourism, in hospitality. You can mention a number of industries, and we're starting to see this thing even in the big retail shops, where they prefer to take the non-South African nationals, not because they love them, but because they want to exploit them and to not pay them the agreed salaries. They also want not to give them any benefits. So they are just exploiting cheap labor. And in that way, those are semi-skilled people, which does not mean that we don't have South Africans who have those skills. So we are dealing with that particular matter. But the way we are dealing with that matter, we are saying we want to regulate it properly, because we are a human rights country. We are a country which has signed a number of international obligations